I am sweating. But Leon Bridges is a Texas R&B soul singer who broke out onto the scene in 2015 with the album Coming Home. An album that saw good reviews, some very positive reviews actually, if I remember rightly, and I listened to it, thought it was good. Thought it was a good album, solid album. And I'd say the biggest flaw of the album was that, in fact, he was very much stuck in the roots of what soul music was, didn't really branch out, was very much wanting to stay traditional, didn't really have much to offer in the way of new ideas, but for the sound that it was good. It was done well. Perhaps not quite as well as someone like Charles Bradley, who was a lot older when he was alive a few years back when he was making albums. Felt a bit more authentic coming from him. But still, Leon Bridges had some ideas that were good and some great songs that came from that album too. Coming Home being one of the best ones, one of the singles, and Brown Skin Girl, what a great jam. And in all fairness, it's fair to say that he has tried modernizing his sound. I say modernizing because there are still some of those very Sam Cooke, Otis Redding isms in his music for most of this album. But there are a few tracks that step away from what he was doing originally. But it is kind of funny though, because those tracks, the few that he does change things up, don't sound that original either. Like, it sounds like other artists, which is just kind of ironic. I think Leon Bridges is kind of set in mimicking other sounds and other artists at this point. If it feels good, then it must be. Man, this is an Usher song. This is Usher, straight up Usher. Vocally, the rhythm of the song, the sort of like sexier tones to the track, it's just straight up Usher from the 2000s, which it was great because Usher at that time was really good. But listening to it on this album, it's just like, oh right, yeah, you just sound like him. You Don't Know comes straight after that. These are like the poppiest tracks on the album. I mean, if these are gonna break through with some kind of mainstream attention, which I don't think he will, but if he were to, then You Don't Know would definitely be the one. I mean, it's such a dancey, groovy song, very much dripping in that sort of soulful sound, but it's got like the dancehall sounds that make it quite modern and quite catchy as well. I actually don't mind this song. To say it is very trendy and very like pop, like it's blatantly pop, it actually sounds okay for what it is. And to be honest, I know a lot of people might criticize him for doing that, but I would kind of take that than most of the first few songs on this album, to be honest. I mean, the first 5 songs just have such an obvious like sound to them and such an obvious lyrical dynamic. He's just reaching out to the one he loves on every song, and it's like, even in the sound, he's stuck in traditional soul. And even with the lyrics, it's totally like from the 60s, because that was exactly what a lot of those classic soul songs did. It was, talking about their woman and stuff like that, and, confessing their love in a really romantic way. It's a very over-romanticized, which is fine, but, it's the same over and over. He's very one note, to be honest. I mean, again, I want to praise him because he gets the sound to a T. Like, he gets it. He knows how to make soul music and knows how to write a nice, lovely song that will definitely appeal to a wider audience that like the relationship type stuff. Songs dripping with love and passion. He totally gets that right. But I just can't help but think that anyone that gives him a high amount of praise surely must not have listened to some of the classic 60s soul artists. Like, you can't have. Or if you have, then you haven't given them a proper, full, in-depth listen, because if you had, then you'd know this is exactly what it is. This album is just that. And I'm all for progressing the sounds of music, to be honest. I'm not really a nostalgia type guy, even though there are some nostalgic artists out there that get the sound right. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but there are, I think Tame Impala managed to get it right. I suppose bands like the OCs as well get that psychedelic rock sound right. Carly Rae Jepsen does a great 80s jam when she knows how to get it right, on that side B Emotion EP thing. Like, those tracks were so 80s, so blatantly 80s, but they were so great. But I think there's something about those artists that seem to get it right, and they blend other sounds too. It's not just one sound from decades ago. You know, like Childish Gambino with Awaken My Love. I mean, it wasn't all just 70s soul. There were some progressive ideas on there too. Even if it was like a dead ringer for that sound. You know, that funk blend as well from the 70s. But I just feel like Leon Bridges doesn't offer too much. And even when he tries doing something else, like with the pop tracks, it does sound like something else anyway. He does close off the album with like an ode to like a woman that he loves. It kind of feels like Brown Skin Girl Part 2 with the whole like 504 black girl like keeps repeating, you know, it feels like that sort of rendition, another sort of part to that song that was on Coming Home. And yeah, I guess it's fine. It's nothing too amazing. Yeah, I guess this album's just that really. It's fine. It's okay. Does it sound well? Doesn't really give me anything I've not heard before. It's just okay. C minus, C minus, C minus. I guess that's about it. Let me know your thoughts if you've heard this album already. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. Let me know what I should review next, and have a good day.